opposite. The Old Testament God was a jealous, wrathful, vengeful person that gave land to one people, took away from another, and even ordered to have children's heads bashed out on rocks, in the land of milk and honey. And you read that and you go, wow, this is really messed up, And then you read the God of Jesus, who brought the new covenant, that says, God is all loving and all forgiving. And, he says, neither do I judge thee, nor does my Father judge thee. And so, he brings this whole new covenant, this whole image, but people are still running off the old image, the jealous, wrathful God you should fear and everything else. It's kind of crazy until you have the real knowledge of what really happened back then. And when you have the real knowledge, it all makes sense. And I always tell people, I said, well, why don't you just live your life according to Jesus and just forget about the wrathful God and all this other nonsense that happened in the past, with all these primitive people, because they didn't know what the hell they were doing, and they wrote things down the best they could understand them. But you can glean all these symbols like you found and sayings, and you can find out there where there has been interaction in the past with ETs, both good and not so good. And it's very clearly spelled out in there if you have the spiritual mind to see, or the knowledge, the pre-knowledge to know what they're talking about.
But the hope, it seems, of our time is that everyone will have access to understanding that if you want to travel between dimensions, become liquid light.
Yeah.
And this is what all the spiritual traditions have been talking about. And now we're going to get an opportunity here to really, really experience that.
Well, I love what you said about if you could teach the children about Washington attain the rainbow body and what the rainbow body is, and then talk about the Capitol, about how it's a temple of sovereignty, and what was the other one?
Temple of Celestial Liberty.
Of celestial liberty. And you say, this is what it's all about, and then say, and look at what we have now.
Right.
Look at where it's gone. It's just a mind blower to me. It's like, I put myself in the mind of one of these extremely advanced beings coming down to this planet and go, what happened? We hung out with your forefathers. We set this all up for you. We gave you the basic foundation, to be a decent human being and to ascend, and find the God within you, and like all the masters and all these higher beings. And I can imagine them coming back here going, and you guys just sit around looking at a boob tube, guzzling beer, watching people inflict as much damage on each other over a dead animal skin.
Yeah.
And you don't care about anything else other than your condo and your SUV, having gas, and you're fine with it. And it just, everything has become a total paradox. If you look, our military, our defense department is really the offense department. And and you really look at everything that we've created has done a total 180 and become reverse of what it was created to be. And that's what you're showing, that the White House has actually become a total paradox and actually opposite of what it was created to be. And I think there are some wonderful people out there. I don't follow politics, but I think Ron Paul and Dennis Kucinich and some of these other guys are really doing all they can to wake people up, and there's some other ones in there as well. But I don't really follow politics, but kudos to them, because a very small percentage of them are starting to speak out and just tell it like it is, and just pull the rug out from under all the nonsense. And I'm just seeing now that that's going to get more and more intense, and like this ClimateGate thing and all the other stuff that's going down. It's just they're all just, it's like the emperor has no clothes right now, and we are in that apocalypse, which is the great uncovering. And I've just seen over and over that everything is being uncovered and karma's just coming around the corner. It took 5 or 10 years to come out, and now it's taking, 5 or 10 days.
Right. Well, yeah. Tiger Woods, there you go.
I don't have a TV or anything here, so I missed that. But I don't know what happened with Tiger Woods.
Well, just a major meltdown of, it's just one of these, I mean, you hear over and over again as I talk with people that now more and more, or perhaps more than ever, this is a time when you really have to be operating in integrity, because if you're not, whatever those dark corners are, there's going to be light shined on them. And so, I mean, here's just a dramatic case study in that of a person that's been living a double life, presenting this image of the chosen one, which is what his father presented him to be. His father said that Tiger Woods was going to do more for humanity than Jesus or Buddha. And and so here he is, all of a sudden, presenting this image of a married man, happily married, but yet he's running around with every, hostess he can find from New York to Vegas and L.A. And suddenly that's all being exposed, and so we're seeing this major meltdown of a star, of the chosen one, and it's just like, what do you expect? I mean, you calling this guy the chosen one and thinking of him as a star? These people aren't stars. When the ancient Egyptians were talking about becoming stars, they meant it. They meant that we have the potential within us to become stars, to become light beings, to travel the stars and live for eternity as star beings. And, here we are worshiping these people that we think of as celebrities and stars, but it's ridiculous to even thinking that they're anything close to that.
Well, it's like Mel Gibson, all these people, Tom Hanks, all these people. You look at the movies they're putting out, and they're just totally selling out and trying to keep the status quo. And they'll start and they'll open up something really good, and then the next movie you see them in totally kills everything that they undid and brings out, a whole negative agenda. And I'm just seeing it over and over again. Is what is wrong with some of these producers? What's his name? Opie. It used to be Opie.
Ron Howard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ron Howard. He, was really on the right track, and they did Cocoon and all these other things, and you're going, keep going. And now, Spielberg, all these guys are creating these very, very dark scenarios, or they're only telling a small part of the story and totally removing the benevolent or the higher aspect of things. They just... And, maybe they can't tell that story. Maybe they just don't have the consciousness or the understanding to tell that story, which is what I've run into again and again and again, is that in dealing with some of these producers, they want to tell the story of my connections and my contacts, and I start talking to them about it. And within 5 minutes, they're trying to create a shoot 'em up, people abducted, needles stuck in your eye, all this other stuff, and you're going, no, wait, it doesn't work that way. And then I go, look, we're either going to do it right or I don't want to do it at all. And then they go, well, you have no control whatsoever of the content of this thing, and we have a format. Mm-hmm. We have to have, guy meets girl, alien threat, guy saves girl, happily ever after program or something, or it's not going to fly. And, it's time for somebody to just get outside the box, and it's time for humanity to, as a collective, just say, I don't want to hear this nonsense anymore. I want a documentary, or I want something that has real content to it, or like get out of the old formula and let's do something that, that just corresponds with reality. Yeah,
exactly. And 2012 is another great example of that, the Roland Emmerich film. It's like, wow. I guess he just wasn't feeling like he had enough karma already on his plate. He wanted a little bit more.
Well, the more special effects and the more fear and the more suspense you can create, and the more horrendous crashing of everything and death and everything else, the more money you get at the box office. And unfortunately, people have sold out. It goes back. They've sold their souls out for, the fame and the dollar. And where is the service? Where's the shifting people into a positive direction? Or, I think we do need to give people a heads up. Look, if our civilization is unsustainable, our grid is very delicate. It shouldn't be. We should all be sovereign and self-sufficient. There are technologies that won't even be affected by sun flares or all these other problems that are coming up. So let's get on with that and get those out. I mean, I can understand that point of warning people, look, we have to change, that this planet can't continue to support us in the fashion that we've grown accustomed to, but not in a way that, the entire planet's going to be pretty much cleaned,
Yeah. Well, again, it gets back to, for me now, to e pluribus unum and saying, well, okay, I think we need that message getting out that we are connected with these other star systems, and it's time for us to get a much larger vision of who we are as individuals and what, in fact, our planet is connected to.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely have to rise to the occasion. We've run out of time, and I can't thank you enough for coming on the show. It's been an awesome show. I wish I had a 2-hour show because I know we could fill it.
Right.
But before we go, let's real quick give your website out and any contact information you want to give concerning, the book Freedom's Gate and a lot of the other Morph DVDs and the other things you have on your site.
Thank you. Yeah, my website is williamhenry.net.
Okay.
You can go there and you'll find all the information about Morph and Freedom's Gate. Both are on the front page of my site, and there's contact information there as well.
Great. Well, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show, and next time you're in the area, be sure and come by and see us. There's a lot going on here.
Count on that, James. Thank you.
We'll show you this Kunlun and some of these other techniques. You'll love them.
All right.
All righty. Well, we're signing off. This is James Gunn with As You Wish Talk Radio signing off. Have a great evening, and watch those skies, and focus on love and joy and bliss till you become it. Good night.